True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is December 7th right now, just a few weeks left before Christmas and New Year's, so I hope everyone's doing their Christmas shopping. Check out our sponsors and help us out. No, I'm just kidding. But also not kidding. But also kidding. We did want to mention on that note of the holidays, we will be taking the week of Christmas off. So it's like the week of December 22nd. So normally we'd have an episode on Thursday, which would be the 25th, which is Christmas. We're going to be off that week. So just so everyone knows, we won't have an episode that week. I hope you're all okay with that.
Advance warning.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like most podcasts do this. And around this time of year, I notice there's a lot of replays and, other podcasts just put out their older episodes because I do feel like it is a quieter time. People aren't listening and commuting maybe as much. So that's why podcasts do that.
Yeah, we're not even going to bullshit you. We're not going to put out an old episode and repackage it. We're just taking it off.
We are the next
main one. We are going to put out a Patreon episode for one. But we're not going to add updates to an old case or redo an old one or something.
Yeah.
We're just not doing an episode, okay? But if you do miss us lots, you could check out our Patreon, even if you just sign up for a little while, but hopefully you stick around, you'd get access to the whole back catalog of over 100 episodes that we only have on Patreon. So if you want a binge listen, check us out over there. And
I feel like
sign
also
up.
An annual subscription to Patreon would be a great Christmas present for someone who's hard to buy for but loves the podcast. I would absolutely.
And there's a discount.
Think about it. Yeah, discount if you do an annual. You can do monthly if you just want to sign up for a month and binge listen, or you can do yearly and you get all the episodes ongoing, and all of the main episodes are ad free on there as well.
Yes. So check it out.
We thought a cool thing to do that we haven't really done yet would be every week or every episode to give a quick shout out to our new Patreons, because we really, really, really appreciate everyone's support, and we can't read out every single Patreon that we have because we've now been going for over 2 years, I think, on Patreon. So we'll just start with this week's new Patreons. And if you are an existing Patreon, thank you, Patreon. And we will absolutely give you a shout out if you'd like one. Just drop us a message. But this week we have had, hold on, I'm just going to. So this week we've had Jess, Alex, Chelsea N, Ashley D, Ashley H, Nancy, Alex PK, Katie, and Darcy join us on Patreon. So very, very thankful.
So many.
Yeah, I know. That was in the past week. So yeah, very, very thankful, grateful. Patreon is a big part of what we do these days. So yeah, very, very, blessed, absolutely.
Yes. So all of the people who are on Patreon are like, we don't care. We just have to be grateful because this is one of the reasons I am able to stay home a little bit longer with my child. So we're just very grateful.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And the other thing that happened this week, which I didn't mention to you that we should probably speak about, is Spotify Wrapped came out.
Oh, yeah.
We had so many nice messages, I don't know, at least 100, I would say, from people.
It's always shocking to me. I know I always say that, but
imposter syndrome. From people who shared that they were in their top 5 podcasts and they'd listened to thousands of minutes of us. So thankful for that. We only had one mean message from someone who said they didn't care. They're like, why do you think we care? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just feel like it's nice when people take the time to message and show their support.
And post it. You don't have to post it.
No, I just feel like it's so nice, and I'm more than happy to celebrate the people who support us. So it's once a year. It's for a few days. I feel like, I am probably shocked we only had one mean message. But we did have a message from this week's listener of the week named Haley after we had posted some of the Spotify Wrap. She said, I totally appreciate you all I totally appreciate yours, love, and appreciation of your fans. I don't follow any other podcast that will reshare so many dedicated fans' posts. This is so, so cool and absolutely the reason so many love you all. Thanks for doing what you do. Patreon for life for Steph and Olivia. That's so nice.
Yeah, I've been trying to interact with more people too. I know I always say I have like this fear from some bullying that I went through of internet stuff, plus just having a podcast for this long and getting mean comments. I would ignore pretty much everything, but I've been trying to get in there in my inbox and talk to people more because I do enjoy it. Like, it's not worth it to me to be afraid of like the couple mean comments to miss out on like all the funny people.
The
Like,
majority
there's
of
so many
nice
people
ones.
I've made friends with online through this that I'm glad I didn't miss out on that. So I'm trying
I feel like
my
too,
best.
sometimes the mean comments are so laughable. Like one that I didn't even tell you. So it was in October, because I'm only mentioning this because it's come up again today. But at the end of October, this person messaged. Here, wait, I'm just going to find it because
It's insulting me. You're just going to make me feel
no,
bad.
no, it's not about you. It's not about you. Hold on, I'm just trying to find it again. So this person messaged in October when I had posted a story about Jennifer Kessie, who we have done an episode on. This person wrote, "You're sure this is a woman and not a man? You seem to have problems in disguising between a man and a woman. True crime my ass. When you cover a woman when she's actually a man, you should be fucking ashamed." And I'm like, what?
Yeah, we get some wild messages.
So I wrote back and I included the FBI's poster where it states that Jennifer is a female. And I said, contact the FBI with your concerns. Have a pleasant day. So she just wrote back today, which is the 7th of December. She wrote, "Is that all you have? Bunch of liars who believe men can be women. I thought true crime was actually about facts, not about lies."
What?
I'm like, what is going on? Like, do you know what? When we do post about a transgender person, there's always comments from someone who has something to say. But she's not even. I know, she's not even. So, like, well, I always know that there's always going to be comments, and usually we just ignore them. But this one, I'm like, what is going on? This is
mental
insane.
Illness, for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
We see a lot of that online, unfortunately. I did also want to ask, though, if you could let us know in the Spotify comments for the people who were in like the top % or whatever, if you saw Spotify had to send in a video, and like what one person said they saw it. So like maybe
no, there was a few. So when people first started sending their Spotify raps, I asked if they saw our thank you. Like we did a personalized thank you video. We each did one and put it together. So some people said they didn't see it, but I don't know if it could just even be like a scrolling thing and maybe they scrolled past it. But then other people are saying they did see it. So we can't see. Like, I guess
who
what people get. Or we can't see what is in your wrapped. So, I'm interested to know if the majority of people saw it or maybe it was, anyway, don't know.
Yeah, Peep stood in for me because, like I said in the video, I was like not about to like do my makeup and feel confident in the way I look presentable right now after probably showering like once a week and just being gross. So Peep stood in for me and you get to see Peep in the video. I mean, maybe we'll post it. I don't know. I don't see why we wouldn't be allowed to, but...
Well, why? It's our video. We should just post it.
We'll post it as like a reel or something, but I'm just curious like how many people saw it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, let's get into the episode. Before we get into the rest of the episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor, Rula. As you guys know, I've always talked about my anxiety. I suffer from social anxiety. I have my whole life. And there has been times in my life where I did have to seek therapy for it because I just felt like it was getting out of control. And I could really use someone to talk to put things in perspective. Finding a therapist alone is hard enough, but finding one who actually takes your insurance, that's even harder. Today, there's a lot of online therapy platforms, but even a lot of those fall short as far as insurance goes. Many of them don't even work with insurance at all, which means you're stuck paying the full cost out of pocket or paying for an expensive monthly subscription. Rula does things differently. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, making the average copay just $15 per session. That's real therapy from licensed professionals at a price that actually makes sense. Think about it. Use your insurance benefits to maintain your physical health, so why wouldn't you do the same for your mental health?
So as Stephanie mentioned, the average copay for Rula patients is $15, but depending on your benefits, your copay could be as little as $0 per session. With Ruler, you can find the right therapist for you. Ruler partners with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, enabling you to find your personalized solution and the right therapist for you, based on your needs, preferences, and state requirements. Ruler supports every aspect of your mental health journey, from therapy to medication management, and with its diverse network of licensed, experienced professionals, Ruler's therapists and psychiatrists make it easy for you to get the care that you need. Thousands of people are already using Ruler to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit ruler.com/TCS to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you. That's rula.com/TCS. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
We are going to be talking about the case of Ciera Breland today, which has been suggested to us a lot. Specifically, we have a couple names. We have Mama Bear is the username who suggested it to us, and Annie and Chelsea have also suggested it to us. So thank you for the suggestion.
This one's been on our list to cover for a while. It's from 2022, so it's fairly recent, not like, not this year, but it's still fairly recent. It's still an ongoing case. And I feel like it's one, we always do, it's always the husband. I feel like absolutely in this case, it is definitely always the husband. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you aren't familiar, this case about Ciera Breland, who is a lawyer, she was 31 years old when she vanished on February 24th, 2022. She was married to a man named Xavier Breland at the time. And the two had an infant son named Jackson. Seems like there was a domestic violence situation going on with this. So, of course, everyone is side-eyeing Xavier. But as of now, the case is still unsolved.
One thing I want to add is that the name Xavier here, we pronounce it Xavier. Like, I have a friend who's got a son, Xavier. Maybe some people do pronounce it Xavier, but here it's Xavier. So I am going to try to say it right because I know in this case it is Xavier, but if I do slip into Xavier, I don't mean to. I'm trying to be mindful of it.
If I didn't know it was Xavier for him, I would have said it Xavier also. I guess you could say it either way.
I thought maybe it was like more of an American pronunciation. Like you guys say Megan, we say Megan. I thought it was something like that. But anyway, I will try my best to Xavier.
I feel like probably more people would say Xavier, I guess. But I did see a video specifically where someone was like, it's pronounced Xavier, not Xavier. Just an FYI before people tell me like I'm wrong.
No, there will be definitely one comment about it.
I know.
New developments tonight in the search for this missing Indiana mother who was last seen in North Georgia.
Text messages allegedly sent from Ciera Breland's phone reveal she was planning to leave her husband and was living in fear.
I will say that she was very concerned for her safety. She was very concerned that he would actually do something to her.
Ciera Breland hasn't been seen since she visited her mother-in-law's Johns Creek home on February 24th. Police and the FBI say her husband, Xavier Breland, is a person of interest in her disappearance. According to Ciera's first cousin, Shelby Campbell, the 31-year-old mother was scared of her husband.
She would say, I think he's going to really hurt me. She's like, Shelby, I'm not kidding. I genuinely think he is capable of doing something very bad to me.
Campbell says things got so bad between Ciera and Xavier, the two came up with a plan in case anything ever happened.
We had a secret code to communicate with each other in case there was an actual emergency where we would call each other twice. And she's like, if you get that double call, don't even bother calling me back. Just call 911.
Campbell never received a double phone call on the day Ciera was last seen, but she says she did get a troubling text message.
I know she was planning on staying from the same visit. She was at his mom's house and he had gotten upset with her, told her she needed to leave. So she was trying to leave, but she was messaging me about it and had said, I'm going to call you right back. He won't give me the baby. And I refused to leave without Jackson.
Xavier, the baby, and the family dog all returned to Indiana. No one has seen Ciera since she left her mother-in-law's home in Georgia.
All right, so some background. Ciera Nicole Locklair was born in Georgia on January 10th, 1991 to parents Nick and Kelly Locklair. Ciera grew up in Georgia and dreamed of living in Atlanta one day. Her mother Kelly said she was a Georgia girl. Atlanta was her plan all along. Her mother told Dateline that Ciera had always been a fighter. She dealt with some health issues when she was younger. Her mother said she overcame and pushed through. She was happy. She was energetic. She was loving. Online reports indicate that Kelly worked as a paralegal and that Ciera decided to follow down the route of a legal career as well. Ciera knew she would become a lawyer. She was extremely driven in her career. Her mother said she just decided that she was going to be a lawyer. That was going to be the end of it. She worked really hard. So Ciera moved to Tennessee and attended university there. She then went on to attend law school at Florida State University. She became a lawyer specializing in insurance defense. Ciera was said to be a devoted aunt to her niece and nephew. She loved to take them shopping for Christmas and back-to-school supplies. Through it all, Ciera was still extremely focused on her family. Her mother said, her father would talk to her sometimes 5 to 6 hours a day, which seems like a lot. It seems like a job, but
I don't know if, surely she meant maybe something like they texted back and forth,
that's what I was wondering too.
Surely they can't be actually communicating nonstop for 5 to 6 hours a day, but that is according to her mother.
If you're counting texts, I probably talk to my mom that much too, because me and my mom text all day. Her mother also said that they'd mostly talk about their lives and what was going on. Her father told Dateline that she was very outgoing, likes sports, likes movies, and she was really fun until about a year ago. And he said that in 2022. Him saying that she was fun until about a year ago, I think, has to do with the domestic violence situation that she got involved in. So it was around that time, a year prior, that Ciera had met a man named Xavier Breland. And some reports say that they met on Tinder, and others, like Dateline, say that Ciera was representing Xavier on some legal issues. So not really sure why there's such a big difference. It's not even
both could
different.
Be true. Maybe they could be true. Maybe she met him on Tinder and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Had a legal issue.
I'm a lawyer, and so I don't know. I don't know which came first. Obviously, the Tinder part, if it's true, would have probably come first. But then other reports do say that she was representing him. So I think she did represent him either way, but we're just not entirely sure how they met.
Yeah. So there are quite a few conflicting reports in the case, so we'll note them as they come up. So this was happening during the end of 2020, so obviously this was a part of the pandemic. Her mother said she was bubbling over with love and that they were inseparable. Her father, Nick, said that he was very protective of Ciera in terms of the men that she dated, but Xavier treated her like a queen. So Xavier had been married before and has at least one child from a previous relationship, a daughter. In 2005, he was convicted on felony burglary charges. So this info about other alleged history is from abovethelaw.com. It says, a source told Fox 5 News that he had warrants associated with harassing phone calls and violating a family violence order. In 2007, court records indicate that he was arrested in Florida and extradited to Indiana on a fugitive warrant. Ciera's cousin, Shelby Campbell, has said that there were issues in Ciera and Xavier's relationship early on. She said, there were some messages that were on a different phone that I turned over to police, so I don't have access to them now, but it was when they first started dating where she was scared of him. Something happened and she had called it off with him. She was hanging out with a separate friend who was a male at her apartment, and he showed up at her apartment without being invited and was sitting outside of her apartment. He started sending her a bunch of threatening texts about hanging out with another male. Dateline says that Ciera and Xavier got married in 2020. The Northeast Georgian stated that Ciera became pregnant in April 2021 and that she and Xavier were married by a justice of the peace via Zoom shortly after that. So, wait, it says they got married in 2020, but then that they got married shortly after.
No, that's what I mean. There's two different conflicting reports. So Dateline says that they got married in 2020, but the Northeast Georgian says that they got married in 2021.
Okay. The Zoom was because it was around the pandemic time, and that's what people had to do back then, if you guys don't remember. So the couple moved to Carmel, Indiana, and Xavier's father lived in that area. Ciera got a job working for the Indianapolis office of Gordon Reese. Also, I'm just saying, I don't know if it's Carmel, Indiana or Carmel, Indiana, but there's a town near me with the same name, and it's Carmel, so I'm saying Carmel. Before anyone
no
gets
doubt
mad.
Someone will correct you.
Yeah, they're like, it's Carmel. So about her job, Gordon Reese Scully Manskahani LLP, commonly referred to as Gordon Reese or more recently GRSM, is an Am Law 100 law firm based in the United States with more than 1,800 lawyers practicing in all 50 states. So it sounds like a pretty big company. So these are some texts that Ciera sent to her cousin Shelby before the birth of her child.
There's not a whole lot of background. Obviously, they've been chatting about the situation that Ciera
Yeah, it
was
just
in.
kind of jumps right in.
So her cousin says, yeah, I get that. I guess just take some time and really play it out. And Ciera wrote, well, I mean, I have a baby coming in October and I'm moving in a month. So I'm really feeling the pressure of it all. And I really love, and I'm assuming it says Xavier there, but it's crossed out. I really love Xavier and I do want us to be together. But at the same time, I'm seeing things that scare me a lot for a future with him. And they aren't the kinds of things that you can accept and live with. Her cousin wrote back, yeah, I understand it's a huge decision. And Ciera goes on to say, well, I'm struggling with it in a very big way. I don't want to give up on someone I love and just abandon him and our family. But at the same time, I feel like the behavior gets progressively worse and not better. So to me, if this is how it is now, then how is it going to be in the future? Plus, he used to feel bad when he said ugly stuff. And lately, he isn't even sorry for his behavior. It's like he blames me for it. And it's basically like, I did this because you made me.
Shelby also said Ciera was scared. I mean, literally from the beginning, and she ended up giving him another chance because he did a complete 180. She also sent these texts in August 2021.
Again, it's crossed out. I'm assuming it says Xavier. It says Xavier is nuts. If anything happens to me, then he's responsible. If I call and say it's an emergency, or if I text it, then call 911. If I call and say it's an emergency, or if I text, then call 911 and tell them I'm at this address. Did you get this? And her cousin writes back, got it. Ciera says, I'm really scared and I don't know what to do. Her cousin asks what happened. Ciera says, I need to stay here because of work and stuff, but I literally think, crossed out, probably Xavier, might hurt me bad. I'm afraid to even sleep here because I'm scared if he comes in while I'm asleep. I'm going to have dad come for a bit and then I'll head home. So she's obviously worried that she's telling people.
Yeah, she sounds afraid.
So one other text that she sent to Shelby said, I just feel like I can't allow myself to be stupid and stay in a bad situation when I know it's not going to improve. Like I told him, you can say that this isn't you and you're not a bad guy, blah, 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 but this is the only you I know and I'm scared. We are moving across the entire country and I'm sacrificing everything for you and you're going to treat me like shit. I do honestly believe you will continue to treat me however you want and that I will have no one to blame but myself for allowing myself to be in the situation and to go into it eyes wide open. So obviously things were not good for a long time. She sent some of those texts in August 2021. Their son Jackson was born in October of that year, 2021. At Christmas 2021, according to the Northeast Georgian media outlet, Ciera and Xavier went to visit her parents. They both apparently looked, quote, haggard and run down. There is a disappeared episode about this case, and her parents appeared in the episode. Nick, her dad, apparently said they were worried that someone was chasing them. They said that Xavier's ex-wife was involved with some kind of drug cartel situation. Her mother said she feared for her life and she'd lost weight. This is not Ciera. This is not my daughter. Kelly, the mother, also said that she felt Xavier was manipulating her, as in Ciera, keeping her in a paranoid and afraid state for his own purposes.
Just to interject, it makes me so sad that she was like pregnant and going through this and like just had the baby. That's like such a hard, vulnerable time in your life. And then you don't even have your partner to depend on. And you're actually like afraid of your partner while being pregnant and while having a newborn baby that I'm sure she's also trying to protect from at least seeing this like abuse that's going on. So I just like feel so sad for her. Like I couldn't imagine not having like a supportive partner during that time. She doesn't live near her family. Seems like Xavier is isolating her as well. So I just really feel for her.
Yeah. So Shelby has said that she knew that there were physical altercations between the couple. Ciera had sent her photos of some of the alleged injuries that she'd got during these altercations in case they were needed for later court proceedings. Ciera also told Shelby that she'd been putting money into a secret account so that she could leave Xavier. She texted Shelby and said, I'm done, I'm leaving, I don't want this anymore. Shelby said she did call the police multiple times. The police were called to her residence both in Georgia and in Indiana multiple times. By the time the police would get there, though, she would have calmed down enough to where she would lie for him. Shelby also said she had told me that she couldn't leave Xavier because she couldn't imagine letting Jackson go with Xavier. Ciera's parents have said that their daughter was not enjoying living in Indiana and that she wanted to move back to Georgia. Kelly said, Mum, I'm coming. You know, we're going to say we're going to visit with you guys and his mum, but I'm never going back to Indiana. Her mother said, I encouraged her and her father encouraged her to come home. We just wanted her to be out of the situation, but Ciera was 31 years old. I trusted her to know what to do. So in February of 2022, Xavier and Ciera packed up their 2017 VW Tiguan with their golden doodle named Baker and their baby, and they started the drive from Indiana to Georgia, which is around an 8.5-hour drive according to Google Maps. They arrived at Ciera's parents' home on February 19th of 2022. Nick, her dad, said she came Saturday night and stayed till Sunday. The next stop would be about an hour away at Xavier's mother's house in Johns Creek in Georgia. Nick said that Ciera texted him on Monday, February 21st. He said, she sent me a message at 11:17 at night saying, I'll be back in the morning if that's okay. And Nick said, I said, of course it's okay. You don't have to ask. So as we mentioned, after they left Ciera's parents' home, they went to see Xavier's mother. She was last known to be alive on Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. She was seen on CCTV standing in the doorway of Xavier's mother's house at 7:17 p.m. that night. Nick texted Ciera that night, and around that time, she said she was okay, but that she'd been feeling a little bit sick. So Nick reached out again to her on Wednesday asking Ciera how she was feeling, and he didn't get a response. So that is the day that she was last known to be alive. CCTV proves that she was alive on that day, but she didn't respond to her father. He texted again on Thursday, February 24th, and again got no response. By Friday, February 25th, Ciera's parents were becoming concerned. They said it was really out of character for her to not respond to their communications. On Saturday, February 26th, 2022, Nick got a call from an unknown Indiana number. He said, I didn't automatically panic because I thought they were still in Georgia. So I answered it and they said it was the police, and that's when they told me that she was missing. Xavier had reported Ciera missing from Indiana. He said that they had returned there after they'd visited his mother. So they visited her parents and his mother in Georgia, and apparently then drove all the way back to Indiana, where he then reported her missing.
The timeline's like so confusing to me because they're so all over the place. And then it seems she was apparently planning on going back to her parents, right? But
yeah,
clearly something happened.
Yeah, and she'd obviously been telling her mother that, you know, she didn't want to be with Xavier anymore and that she had no plans to basically go back. But somehow they got back to Indiana.
I wonder why she went to his mom's house at all then. Like, I wonder.
Maybe just trying to keep the roost up, like, you know.
To, like, placate him.
Yeah. So according to Disappeared, CCTV only showed Xavier heading back to Indiana. He was seen getting gas, going into the store and leaving. Ciera, the baby, or their dog were not seen at any time. Xavier told police that when they got home, he and Ciera had argued about her running out of Adderall. She apparently asked him for some of his stash, and he said that he refused, and that made her mad. He said that she left in anger at around 11 p.m. and that she may have been headed to a local CVS. He said that she was wearing a black top and purple shorts. She left without her cell phones. She did have 3 cell phones. One was a personal phone, one was a work phone, and one was a burner phone that she kind of used to communicate with her friends and family in case she needed to get away from Xavier. Her ID and her credit cards. Shelby, her cousin, said no one believes Xavier's story that she walked off without her phone, her keys, her baby, or her dog. It was 20 degrees out. It's beyond believability.
Also, something I was reading or said that it was like 20 degrees out that day, so why would she be wearing shorts? Like,
yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
At 11 p.m. at night, like surely if you were going to pop out to get something, you'd put something warmer on, and, you know, 20 degrees is very cold. So just for anyone who is not in the US, 20 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 6 degrees Celsius, so below freezing. So Nick called Xavier to find out what was happening. He said he got nowhere, so he called Xavier's father, who lived near the couple. He said Xavier's father said, no, I never saw her. So he's denying ever knowing that she was back.
Yeah.
Police began to investigate and determined, as we mentioned, that the last time that Ciera was confirmed to be alive was February 24th at her mother-in-law's house. Lieutenant Kalish spoke to Dateline, and he said the biggest thing is she's a 31-year-old woman with a 5-month-old baby. It's not normal for her, according to her family. They talk to her all the time and or daily, and they're extremely concerned, as are we. We are taking it very seriously. Kelly told Dateline that Ciera would never have abandoned her son. She said there is no one since that baby has been born. No one has kept the baby for even an hour. She was the sole mother, caregiver, everything to that child. It's unfathomable to the family that Ciera would just walk away. For them to say, she just said, hey, heck with it. Walking out the door without my child, my car, my phone, my money, nothing, and I'm just going to hit the road is absurd.
Yeah, there's like no way she was leaving her baby with him.
No, especially when she knew it was an abusive situation. That's why she even had said that she had to stay with him because she couldn't, put her
And it
baby.
seems like she was trying to, protect the baby.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying, she said that she's literally only staying with him because she doesn't want to have like shared custody with him, basically.
Yeah. So officers in both Indiana and Georgia searched areas where Ciera was known to have been. They also subpoenaed her phone records, which didn't really reveal much information. They dredged rivers and searched by air to no avail. They also had the dogs sniff the car that Xavier said the family travelled back to Indiana in, but that came back up empty as well. Her father, Nick, said these dogs, which are very good, weren't picking up any scent, nothing. If she rode up there 10 hours in that car, the dogs would have known it. So, yeah, obviously she did ride to Georgia.
That's why it's confusing to me because I'm like, they didn't smell, like she clearly went there.
But I know there is like a time period where scent is the strongest. So maybe he was kind of alluding to that, like her scent was not strong in the car.
Yeah.
Xavier would also be filmed on a video chat with some of his other children saying that Ciera had been kidnapped. This obviously conflicted with his initial statement of her walking away from the house. On February 28th, 2022, so just a few days after Ciera vanished, Xavier was involved in an incident at their home with a firearm. Court documents indicate that there was an accidental discharge of a firearm at their home. Xavier told investigators he was moving a Christmas tree in the garage when he heard a gunshot and he ran outside. He said he would then return to the garage, locate the gun and unload it. Investigators would say that 2 guns were found at the scene. So on March 2nd, 2022, Carmel Police and the City of Johns Creek Police announced that Xavier was a person of interest in the case. Their statement said, through the combined efforts of both agencies, the missing person's husband, 37-year-old Xavier Breland Jr., has been identified as a person of interest in this case. They also noted that Xavier has not been criminally charged in relation to this case, but has now been arrested on an unrelated warrant out of Georgia. So it's believed that warrant related to Xavier's alleged stalking of his ex-wife, and this info about that warrant is from Fox 5 Atlanta. They say court records indicate that he was accused of putting a tracker inside a stuffed animal belonging to his daughter with the intention of tracking the girl's mother, his ex-wife. The case stemmed from a custody battle between the former couple. So on March 4th, 2022, the FBI and the GBI announced that they were both assisting in Ciera's case. The Locklairs told Dateline that on Friday, March 11, some of their family and friends went out searching in Johns Creek. Nick said they went out and plastered out flyers and looked around. I think there were 7 or 8 officers walking with them, Kelly said. And I mean, it was a big turnout and people were really receptive. Xavier did get an attorney by this point. That is a man named Brian Howard. He spoke to WSB-TV about his client's alleged innocence. The attorney said he's cooperated with police, he's made statements to the police, and he's tried to help them in any way possible. So Xavier did end up being acquitted of the charges related to stalking on August 16th of 2022. He was released from prison but was arrested on a new warrant the following day. So he ended up going to trial in 2024, just last year, for the unlawful possession of the firearm charge that we mentioned earlier. In June of 2024, Xavier was also charged with intimidation. According to court documents, during the trial, Xavier reportedly said to an advocate for Ciera's family, "You better hope you see me before I see you."
Scary.
Yeah, the woman is named Blair Duncan, and she spoke about the incident. She said, "As I was exiting the courtroom, he made direct eye contact with me, and then he turned back to face the courtroom. As I walked behind him to exit, he said, 'You better hope you see me before I see you.' And so I'm really not there for his antics, and I fully expected something like that from him." Blair also said that Xavier noticed the lock screen of her phone, which was a photo of a child, and he said, "Cute kid," not as a compliment. Blair said, "No, it was in a threatening way for sure, absolutely." So thankfully, CCTV in the courtroom did capture this whole interaction. They obviously saw that there was intimidation happening, so he was charged. Blair went on to say, "I'm not afraid of Xavier Breland. I obviously wouldn't be here doing what I was doing. I'm really over the audacity that it takes for him to think that he can speak to anyone any way that he wants and to think he's above the law. I'm really glad to see some justice and really happy to be a part of that justice."
I know I said like scary, and it is scary, but I was like, what a fucking loser. Like, grow up.
I know.
Act like an adult. Clearly he has issues.
So in July of 2024, Xavier was sentenced to 12 years in prison for the charge of possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. This only applies to the first set of charges, and further sentencing on the intimidation charge may be announced at a later time. He is apparently planning to appeal the sentence. I haven't been able to find anything on the appeal process if he's started it, but he said at the time that he was planning to appeal. So, I'm not having a drink. In March 2025, which was over 3 years after Ciera went missing, authorities were asked for an update. Lieutenant Eric Rosier of the Johns Creek Police Department in Georgia said that he didn't have any new updates or active investigative leads to share with the public. He said it's important to keep this story alive because information from the public is often a way for the cold cases to break. So it's a bit sad that it's already a cold case when it's only 3 years old, but obviously they don't have a body, they don't have evidence, it seems. He went on to say, it's important not to forget Ciera's tragic disappearance. I have faith that the truth will come to light at some point. That will be a great day, and we want nothing more than to bring justice to Ciera and provide closure to her family. Lieutenant Rosier did confirm that Xavier is still a person of interest in the case. I haven't seen any other persons of interest named. Obviously, it's probably him, but still named as a person of interest at this time.
Yeah.
Ciera's family have spoken about their loss. Her aunt, Jeannie Bush, said, losing someone, not knowing how or why, is the absolute worst feeling. I can't describe it. None of us can move forward, and there's just this constant pain and heaviness of not knowing. Her mother, Kelly, said lots of things go through your mind when your child is missing and you have thoughts that a specific person is responsible. We should have seen the signs. So the FBI have announced that there is a $10,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Ciera. She was 5 feet tall and 120 pounds with blonde hair when she went missing. I have also seen it reported that her parents now have custody of her son, which is good. Obviously, that would be who you would want him to go to in a situation like this.
Because I don't trust his mom either. I feel like she knows something.
Well, yeah, surely. So in terms of theories, the advocate for Ciera's family, Blair Duncan, believes Xavier killed Ciera and her body is likely in Georgia or somewhere on the way from Georgia to Indiana, which I also suspect. I don't think there's any way she left voluntarily. I don't think she would have left the baby. I don't think this is like a suicide type situation. I really am 99% sure there was foul play in this case.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's again, I feel like we do it quite a lot lately. There's a lot of discussion on Reddit, which is a good place to get people's points of view and their opinions on what has happened in this case. Someone wrote, she was his attorney during his ex-wife's abuse and custody case. And then it says, then they go on to say she knew what he was doing in terms of Ciera, maybe knew what he was doing. Someone said, I can almost guarantee that he convinced Ciera that his ex was lying, making things up and actually stalking
That's what they always do.
Yeah. People like that are experts at picking their next target, masking his true self to manipulate her into believing that she was helping some poor dad who just wanted to see his children and the ex wanted him back and blah, 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 and he's the victim. We've seen it all before. I think it's easy to underestimate people like him.
Totally agree. I know someone exactly like this guy, sadly. It's like a ex-family member, like a former uncle of mine who was literally like the same exact type person to a T. Like he came off as very likable. He still got women to date him while he was going through all of this legal shit with my aunt and being like an absolute nightmare. Was also the type of person that would like threaten the other attorneys involved and like the children's attorney involved. And was still, it never made sense to me, but did at the same time how like women would still date him. He even got like his girlfriend at the time to like get involved and like write letters for him on his behalf, supporting him. It's like, how are you as a woman supporting this monster who is like putting his ex-wife through all of this insane shit? But it's exactly what that person said. They just are good at tricking people.
Yeah. There's just two other interesting comments that I picked out. One says, first of all, I want to point out that I agree with Xavier murdering Ciera. His criminal record, his facial expressions, signs of a psychopath, and even more important, having a girlfriend/wife who is a lawyer who can let you lose your son or screw you over in other ways. I think he had many reasons to do it. But what caught me off guard was that they moved to Indiana due to legal trouble with Xavier's ex. Very strange, it must be serious. And it was even a bigger issue Ciera helped him, creating some kind of dependency relationship. But Ciera was an adult, yet either acting like a teenager or desperate, which I guess that is victim blaming. But, she was in this situation, she married him, was trying to leave. But I'm not on board with the victim blaming, but I guess that is true to an extent. They finish up with, on the other hand, their relationship seems like an all or nothing. Getting married after 6 months, a few months later, there was a baby. Maybe things went too fast for Ciera. She wanted to slow down, or even worse, discovered who Xavier really was and wanted to divorce, and he snapped. And the last comment was, I've never been so sure about an ID episode, which is in reference to the disappeared episode. No doubt she is killed by her partner, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Which I also agree. I feel like so highly unlikely that anyone else was involved. I do think the scenario was maybe she's like, I'm not going back to Indiana, and he snapped and did something to her. I feel like it sounds like all of this was brewing, and then obviously for her to get back to Georgia, I could see it being along those lines of her being like, no, I'm not going back, and he's like, well, whatever he did.
Yeah, I agree. We were just saying, like, one of the last episodes we recorded that the most dangerous time as a domestic violence victim is when they try to leave.
Yeah.
And this is another situation where that seems to be the case. And it's like sad, but it's like, what more is there to say that we haven't said a billion times, sadly, about all these cases with all these types of men in all these situations? It's just like you see it time and time again. And it's just sad that it happens so frequently where the woman knows that she needs to get out, knows something bad is going to happen to her, to the point where she's like texting friends and family about it, being like, if something happens to me, it's him. If I text you 911, like call 911. Like they're making plans to get out and backup plans, saving money. And then the guy, I know I say guy and it can be a woman, but gets wind of it and suddenly the woman is missing.
Yeah. I do think that other comment that I read was an interesting point, that basically Ciera was a lawyer, so she would have had the means to maybe withhold the son from him. Like it could have also been something like that. He was feeling extra threatened because of her knowledge and her education. So,
and people like him, they just want to win. Like he probably didn't even really want his son, but he didn't want her to have that over him.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking him up.
So I'm glad he still doesn't have his son because he's in jail.
Yes, I would agree. So he went to jail last year, 2024, for 12 years, which, so there's hopefully he will serve that entire sentence. Maybe, I don't know, if he's going to appeal, maybe there is some type of plea deal, but then in terms of if he reveals where he put Ciera, but then he's going to be slapped with those extra charges anyway. It doesn't seem like he will talk. I would be surprised if he does. He's gotten away with it for over 3 years now. Why would he talk and indicate himself in the crime?
Yeah, he would never do that. He seems like the type that's just gonna like let this ride out and not even feel guilty about it. I'm sure he probably still thinks he's in the right.
Yeah,
like what he did, like she deserved it.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's how he thinks, but hopefully we will see justice for Ciera. Hopefully they find out what happened to her and get some more evidence against him, because I would love to just see him have to suffer the consequences of his actions for this.
I feel like there's been so many cases that we've covered too that involve a type of road trip. So where people obviously can be driving and find a perfect spot. Well, yeah, it makes it harder for the investigators, but makes it easier for them to dump the body because they are driving and they wait until they see the perfect remote spot. Like Timothy Pitts and Melody Buzzard is still missing. Ciera is still missing. It happens so many times where there's too much ground to cover to actually, pinpoint where a body could be.
Yeah. But hopefully they do find her sooner than later. So that is it for this episode. Love to hear what you guys think as well. So let us know in the comments on Spotify or Instagram or wherever you listen or wherever you can comment. Let us know. Everything will be on the blog at truecrimesocietyblog.com. So you can check out our sources and everything there. Check us out on Patreon, like we said at the start. I won't plug it since we did so much at the start, but check us out over there as well. Yeah. And if you want to see what we're up to, did I say our Instagram? No. If you Make sure you're following us on Instagram to see the latest updates and things with new cases and all the news and everything at True Crime Society. And if you want to see what we're up to, my Instagram, StephSum_, Olivia's TCS Olivia. Just check us out as well. Otherwise, if you could just share the podcast to like your Instagram story, show us what you're doing while you're listening to the podcast. It helps us get the word out. So it's a big help to us when you guys do things like that. And we love to reshare them to our story as well. So keep it up. So thank you guys for listening. As always, stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.